That hurt. More verticality. Recording in progress. All right. Welcome to the Straight Red Card. I'll stir fry you in my wok, as was once said by a very smart man.
Very wise man.
In the song called Intergalactic by the Beastie Boys. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to do some wok frying tonight on multiple fronts. And by the way, I should say this show is brought to you by Sam Stokes Junk Enhancing Speedos. If you need Speedos that enhance your junk, go to samstokesjunkenhansingspeedos.com. Buy them.
God, starting a whole nother product line, whole nother website. That's fascinating.
It's already moved beyond the t-shirts already. All right, we love you, Sam. I hope that venture goes well. Anyhow, I did want to address one other thing I saw today, which I thought was funny. And that was, this is crazy. So, you know how I'm a subscriber of the show Sharks Happen?
Yeah, I didn't know you were a subscriber to it. I know you hate sharks.
I know, but I love the stories. Here's one of his headlines recently.
Shark happens.
You got to listen to this title.
Listening.
Woman bitten in two by great white, and that's not the half of it. Ooh, God damn, man. You could be a little nicer about the fact she just got chopped in half. We got to make jokes on her behalf. Oh, Jesus Christ. So anyhow, I do love that show, even though I do love the guy. I like the way he investigates, gets into all the details and shit, and tells you exactly what happened. Aaron Long with a pinch to the neck, like Mr. Spock. Yes. Boop, 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 boop. All right. So that's the musical portion of the show. We will get to other important things. I think we should start off, before we get into the Crain and Company folks, as well as grading the players, which we'll also do tonight.
Apparently, it's a channel that nobody knows about. So you're welcome, Crain and Company. We're going to expose you to the world.
Yeah. And, we'll get into their, how they approach things. So, but Grant Wall's tweet. I think we should address that. No?
Why not? You want to start there?
Let's do it. Before we get to the stuff people came here for, like the grading and the Crain and Company stuff. What did Grant say now? Can you blow that up a little?
Yep, gotcha.
I'll bet those were almost all Americans at the game tonight. I don't think that's what he meant.
So, guys, this is in reference to Christian Pulisic's comment at the end of the game when he says he wished there were more Americans in the stands. I know most people understand what this is in reference to because it was like the hottest topic today on Twitter. He
meant American supporters and American fans. I think he more than realized that most of the Moroccans there were Americans. Moroccan American.
It's a hell of a commute for a friendly.
But you know what? They may never get a chance to see them again in the United States.
Yeah.
So they all came from all over the United States to support their team. And maybe, let's just start off with the assumption that Pulisic knew that already. What he meant and what he could have said better, as you said pre-show, was, he needed to be more specific about. But even so, if the basic moron knows what he was saying there.
Yeah, he wants more red, white, and blue jerseys in the stands.
Yeah, that's basically
Let's also talk about the fact that, it is a Wednesday game for a friendly. Those are a tough sellout by any means. And obviously we have to talk about, we don't have to really talk about, but USSF's price gouging on ticket prices.
It's horrendous.
Not only that, but of that stadium, of that 26,000 stadium, there were a little over 20,000 tickets sold.
Sad.
Or maybe people in attendance. I'm not sure which is which. But
it is sad. But fans are starting to figure out, well, this is just a friendly, right? So, and then they look at the cost of the tickets. They're like, well, shit, they're selling this like it's like a qualifier. No, it's just a friendly. And so people are like, well, fuck you. I'm not paying $120 or $100 or for the cheapest one, $70, because if I take my whole family, that's 70 times 4. That's $280. It's a lot of money for a game. Seriously, it is. And I don't think U.S. Soccer cares, though. And I think Shaka Hislop brought up today in one of his thingies where he's like, well, I don't understand if 3 days before the game that you're nowhere near selling out, then why don't you just go to local soccer clubs and hand out,
paper in the stadiums,
discounted tickets to like the U18s or the U15s or the U8s, and
just offer to the club in general and let them dictate.
Give it to the kids and have the kids go to the game and get them excited. We need to get the next generation to continue to be excited about this. And if they can go watch their heroes like Christian Pulisic and Weston McKennie and Tyler Adams, I mean, this is a good way to fire up a new generation of fans. But these morons that run USSF don't care about that. They have like this very distinct financial business model that they do for both friendlies and qualifiers and everything else, and they stick to it to a T. There is no amount of like, okay, but let's think about other ways to get more new fans involved. They don't think that way. They're like, we don't fucking care. That's what they say. So yeah, that's where we're stuck at. And so, I mean, Christian needs to, I think if he's going to say things like that, he's going to have to be clear about who he's directing it at. Because he could have directed that at U.S. Soccer as much as he could have anybody else.
Well, it's left for some interpretation. Mm-hmm. Was he blaming the fans? I don't think he was blaming the fans, and I don't think that he'd go out of his way to do so.
But it could come off bad.
Yeah, exactly. It's after a game. He wasn't. I mean, he had a point that he wanted to make. It seemed like, and how it came out may have been up for question. Regardless, I feel like 60 to 70% of the people knew what he meant by it. There were 30% of the people I thought that were probably under the impression and probably feeling that it was a bash towards the fans. I think once people started talking about it on Twitter, for the most part,
they sorted it out.
They understood and came to an agreement. Yeah, probably could have said it better.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as Grant in this comment, I mean, we've kind of stayed away from the whole pile on Grant aspect in our community here. But I mean, this was just a bad take.
Yeah, he could have been more nuanced here, really. But I think instead he was trying to get brownie points from someone, and I'm not sure exactly who. But I love the response by Soccer Dad. He's like, "No shit, Sherlock." However, everybody, including you, knows that he was talking about U.S. men's national team fans, not American citizens. Mm-hmm. I mean, everybody knew that or should have known it, because all those Moroccan Americans are Americans. I'm sorry, they are.
Yep.
David D, this is totally on USSF. It's a friendly against an unknown opponent. Correct to most Americans who probably couldn't tell you where Morocco is located,
or a single player on Morocco for the most part.
Yeah, because most of them play in Europe. To casuals in the middle of the summer when there are other things to do with expensive ticks, plus in a city that already had a game. Yeah, I mean, indeed. I mean, if I didn't watch that on TV, I would probably be busy. I don't know, jerking off or whatever I do. There are plenty of other things to do in the world right now.
Yeah.
So activities, because people are finally getting out of their houses for the first time in 2 years, and so they're getting out, they're going to the parks, it's nice to see that.
So it's kind of funny though. I just thought about this, and I don't think I saw a single person post this, but my personal opinion, this comment here is pretty toxic.
I bet almost all Americans.
Well, you've already read it. Yes, it's
what's toxic about it?
He's basically calling Pulisic a xenophobe.
Oh, I think he's
trying to get a Twitter pile up, man. I'm being hyperbolic here, guys. I don't think he's being toxic, but this is the same scenario. People are like, "Oh, I don't think Aaron Long should be on the roster. You're being toxic." Same concept in that sense. Somebody makes a simple comment, now a bad comment, but somebody makes a simple comment, they just get listed as such. It's
a comment that isn't nuanced enough. It's a brownie point comment, number one. So I don't know.
Somebody did say it.
Pete said that. Pete said what?
That it was toxic.
Oh.
Tacticals in the house.
From Sensitive Grant. I love Sensitive Grant. It's like everybody's got a nickname. I know. I mean, I called Tight Shirt Twelman on I called him Tight Shirt Twelman. And I said he's flapping his lips. He's flapping his lips on the show. And then Sam was like, yeah, I like Tight Shirt Twelman. Well, we like him too. It's just we have a nickname for him. And when I say flapping his lips, it's what he does sometimes. He just flaps his lips and says stuff like, well, I hear in reports that that Tillman kid's going to be better than Julian Green. That's what I'm hearing through the grapevine. No shit. Really? You heard that through the grapevine? It took how many phone calls to get that done to Germany?
And let's see. Please Morton also said this, but cheap seats were $70. Again, in a friendly against an unknown opponent.
Well, I mean, they shouldn't be unknown, but I mean, I get what you're saying. I mean, shit.
It'd be one thing saying like if they're playing against a Brazil or an Italy or Germany or something like that. Again, it would be a higher no name, but you're playing Morocco, and most U.S. fans, casual U.S. fans, are going to look at that and go, was El Salvador busy?
If we were playing like New Guinea or Papua or something like that, that's like way on the other side of the world. But Morocco, if you know your history, they've been around a while, a long time.
Well, I don't
think as Morocco, but
I don't think the point is the unknown opponent is not necessarily saying like, what the fuck is Morocco? Is there a Morocco somewhere? Is that in Asia somewhere? They're not saying that. They're saying like, who the fuck plays for Morocco? I don't know who plays for Morocco. I'm going to have to go to the wiki page to find that.
Ziyech. Well, he doesn't actually play. Hakimi. They have a lot of good players on that team.
Again, it's one of those things you open up the roster and you're like, oh, okay. I know a couple of these players. Oh, what? Neither of them are showing up? Yeah, fuck.
Well, Hakimi showed up.
Oh.
He did show up. So, yeah, he was one-on-one with Jedi all night.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to save the player grades for last, right?
Might as well.
So let's take some questions before we go into Crain and Company, or comments, either one of the two. We have them. By the way, Portugal's fucking away kits today look stupid. Those were dumb. It looked like they got run over by a motorized tricycle. That's what they look like today. I don't know what they're doing. It looks like something from Charlie Brown or something like that. The Peanuts. What a horrible uniform. And there's a country with beautiful colors to display. And they just, just all white with 3 stripes. Blah, 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 across the, ugly.
Mm-hmm.
That game ended 1-1. It was a relatively entertaining game. Ronaldo didn't start, by the way. Anyhow. Not that I give a shit. All right. Questions, comments. Let's take them. You got some? Toss them at the wall.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on. I didn't know we were into the comments next.
Well,
I had the Daily Wire video pulled up.
Well, we're going to do that, but I said let's take some questions and comments before we get those out of the way because they keep flowing. If we let them build up, the pipes will burst.
Hold on. It's not close enough.
All right. Super close up. Watching. Okay. Brett W., who's been around here for a while, is not related to our Brett, who is the
Stock
Brett.
Puppet account.
Yes. Watching how the team played, how much of this do you think is Gregg getting it, and how much is him maybe being less strict due to qualifying? On another note, Yunus Musa is about to be coached by Gattuso. Curious to see how that goes. As a Milan fan, I'm curious. Well, I'm sure it'll go fine. But as far as Gregg getting it, I think Gregg had a whole nother thing he wanted to try out last night, and he tried it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we talked about this in our other video. Gregg had talked about trying a 3 center back formation, and I'm gonna flat out. I think we all can agree that's pretty much on the attack what we saw last night.
Yes, not in defense, but in attack.
On defense, in the attack.
And a very aggressive setup. Very aggressive.
I think a lot of us heard, a 3 center back formation, and we all thought, okay, he's going to try something different. I think it was pretty much of the same, except for he gave Jedi or whoever played left back more freedom. Oh, but then Scally played. Is what I'm saying.
That's true, but he held back more.
He did hold back more, which kind of surprised me. Maybe just they're up 3-0, don't need to let them leak in a goal late or something like that. Maybe.
Well, Scally was up there when we almost scored a goal. He was in the box. He came through the middle and said, "Hey, I'm here," and then the ball went elsewhere. But
But I think the bigger experiments outside of that came down to some of the player positionings we saw. We talked about Luca De La Torre at the 6. We talked about Aronson at the 8. Hadji got his debut. Various things like that. So as far as him getting it, I think we basically saw Berhalter ball out there. We saw different players in different positions. And it could be a combination of it, but also maybe Berhalter just got him in the right mood before the game. A couple of our opportunities early on may have put Morocco kind of on their heels for a bit. And whenever the opponents get on their heels, we always tend to shine a little more. But we also got caught up on the counter. So it's
we did.
It's not if he's quote unquote getting it, he hasn't quite completely got it.
No, he hasn't, because the defense. I mean, we both had to rewatch the game again today, and
some of it.
We weren't as thrilled the second time through as we were the first time. I mean, that's what it takes.
A 3-0 win. Yeah, I mean, at that point, your emotions are flying high.
Yeah, you're
that was great. Everybody played well.
We won. Yay. Tillman got to play. Scally got to play. Luca De La Torre came in and played the fucking 6, rocking. This is great. But then you go back and watch some of the way we played defense against counters.
Do you want to bring some of those up right now, or do you want to wait till the player grades?
I think we should probably wait.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll save
hold
that.
off.
Yeah, but yeah. Any other questions?
Sure. We can go through what questions we have available. I mean, I see I have 9 notifications, so some things may have popped up since I've been on.
All right, Sean Weeks, Hadji Wright had good off-ball movement and would constantly look to make runs. I agree.
Yeah,
I was happy with Hadji. I don't think he's the solution yet, but
I was going to say I agree with what Tack said on his video that came out today. He's another option, and he may have made himself a top option, but is he the solution? We have to see more.
Yeah, that's not enough to give you the answer.
It was 45 minutes.
I mean, it helps that he knows all those guys, right?
Yep.
It helps that he knows McKennie, he knows Adams, he knows Pulisic. He knows a bunch of these guys. He's been playing with them forever in the youth team. So there you go. All right, so let's wait and see on Hadji Wright. I'm sure we're going to see more of him next game. He might start next game. So there you go. Margaloff, Matt Turner is our number 1 keeper. He or Brendan should have been man of the match. I agree. You guys think this is Matt's job to lose? Not to Berhalter. I wish I could say it was. I think it should be. To the commentators, to the fans, it is at this point. But when I say the fans, I'm speaking as a whole. Not necessarily everybody's going to agree with this, but yeah, I mean, generally,
Turner was absolutely stellar last night. Absolutely stellar. Outside of a couple of misplaced goal kicks or some rushed passes, he looked more comfortable with the ball than ever. That was good to see. Not great by any means, still a little bit awkward, but I was less scared of him having the ball at his feet. And unlike Horvath, when Turner goes to Arsenal and, they've got the FA Cup, they got all the cup games they got to play. If he doesn't play him, he will throw a fucking hissy fit, unlike Horvath, who just bends over, grabs his ankles, and takes it. So I love the way they describe Turner in his move to Arsenal. They're saying basically he's playing with house money, and for a guy that went undrafted or like whatever is late drafted or whatever, it didn't actually start playing until like he was 14 years old. Mm-hmm. The opportunity to go to Arsenal, get paid some big bucks, and play in Europe, something that most players want. He's like, well, how could I possibly say no? And who knows? Ramsdale could sprain a testicle, or something bad could happen. I mean, he might put something up his ass that doesn't fit, and then he has to go to the hospital, and there's all kinds of procedures, and then you got Matt Turner there ready to start, or whatever injury that Ramsdale gets. I'm not saying anybody should go do anything to Ramsdale. I'm just saying there could be an injury there. Yeah. And then he starts. And then, if I recall correctly, you did have Aronson as your man of the match last night, right? I did, yeah. And I went with Pulisic. It seemed to be split half and half between Pulisic and Aronson last night. But we also mentioned today. Turner at the time too, though. So yes, we did. I mean, all three of those players could absolutely have been named. Yes, man of the match, and I wouldn't have worried. I wouldn't have concerned myself. They were the men of the match. How's that? Yeah.
Sir Plep Magoo. Plep Plu. I know there's something here.
I know I'm trying to work it out too.
Sir Plep Magoo.
I'm watching the chat because I'm sure they'll figure it out.
Yeah, I don't know what that means, Desi. Nice try. I can't say it. So this has got to be the guy that used to email us all the time. Gotta be. It's got to be. I don't even check my email anymore there. So I'm not sure if you...
Jose's got something for you.
Derek's injury always involved assholes and dicks and balls. And testicles, usually. There are a lot of those. And I only do that, to be honest with you, because I had a severe testicle injury once. So, all right, I'm not going to get into that. That's TMI. If you want to know about it, I'll talk about it at some point, but not tonight, probably. I'm not sure if you watched the ESPN pregame coverage, but Norma's tits and said that Berhalter likes to play a CAM and sometimes two strikers. She said this when talking about Aronson being in the midfield. Speaking of Aronson, will BA being a good 8 push out the need of Roldan? Could be. Although we saw Roldan cheering on the guys on the sideline yesterday. He's good at
sending out those good vibes.
Yep. Don Garber, slurp up my goo. Okay, I think
that's what the name is.
There needs to be an L in.
Well, yeah, you can't necessarily put an L in front of stir. It wouldn't work.
My goo. All right, I get it. Well done, Dong.
I don't know if Dong is Desi.
Could be.
Regardless.
Yeah. Could be the same guy. We don't know. Yeah, I don't know who this Norma Stitz is, but we didn't play tens. Chris Gary at American Flag, Gregg Sabin. So does that mean Chris Gary has two names?
No, his picture is a mesh up between Gregg Berhalter and I'm spacing Saban's first name.
Oh, that's complicated. Yeah. Hey, he's an Islanders fan. Hell yeah. I was too back in the olden days when Billy Smith played goalkeeper and we had Mike Bossy and Trottier and we were winning cups. All right. And then I stopped watching hockey because I moved out in the Midwest. Nobody cares. All right. This had potential to be the longest stream. Player ratings, the video, Grant Wahl, the rambling about non-soccer related things, and Twitter questions. My question being, with Gregg finally playing an attacking midfielder, what does Gregg do with Gio when he's healthy? I don't know if I would call Aronson a 10. I would have still called him an 8, and I would have still called him box to box.
How about an attacking 8? I mean, I know he got back in the defense at some points.
Hell yeah, he saved us a couple times back there.
Yeah, and he definitely was more in the attack than Musa was, at least in the first half. And then Musa ended up working his way up, especially in the second half.
I think Gregg's still going to play Gio out wide.
I think so too. Although, I mean, here's the problem. I mean, even if Gio comes back, I mean, Weah is firing on all cylinders out right. Pulisic is out left. What are you going to do?
Yeah, like many people are saying, put Weah at the center forward spot and move Rain out right. Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. It's good problems to have. That's all I got to say.
And again, I hate to keep saying that Tight Shirt said this, but it was either him or the other guy that's with him. I still don't know his name.
British guy.
Yeah, but he
English accent guy, John something. John Generico.
But he ended up one of them said, hey, the teams that do well in the World Cup are teams that have players that should be on the field but are sitting the bench. Because you have John Champion?
Mm-mm.
No. Okay. Mm-mm. Yeah. More ton of people are putting John Champion.
Really? That was John Champion? All right. Well, should have known that name. Champion. I'm John Champion.
Did you catch the the turd makes an appearance in the press conference?
I watched it. It was boring.
In the flesh.
Yeah, it was boring. He was in the flesh, though. He was standing at the podium, too. Yes. All right. Are we done? You want to move on?
You want to hold on to some of these until later then?
Sure. Yeah. All right. Yeah. And then, we'll take some from the chat, too. As we go along.
All right, so we're going to do the
Crain
hot take
and company.
So for those who aren't familiar with it, because neither Derek nor myself were familiar up until this video.
No.
Crain
Never heard of them.
Crain and Company happens to be a sports show on YouTube based out of Daily Wire.
Okay. I think that's Ben
Shapiro's
spot, I think.
One of his publications.
Is it? Okay.
I mean, he works for the Daily Wire. Let's rephrase this.
Yeah, so Crain and Company work for the Daily Wire.
They're at least paid by the Daily Wire.
No, doesn't Ben Shapiro own his own company?
I'm spacing the guy who does the his name. What is his name? Jerry or whatever. He does like Jerry's Razors now.
Really?
Yeah. I think Ben Shapiro is just a high up personality on the Daily Wire. I don't know if Daily Wire is technically his.
I think it is, because didn't he like move to like Nashville and then move to Florida?
Daily Wire.
Why does that guy look like Ben Shapiro?
The owner it was created by Ben Shapiro and Jeremy Boring.
Okay.
So created by both.
His name's Boring. That sucks to have such a boring last name.
He's a very charismatic guy if you watch his Jeremy's Razors, man. That commercial crack.
Oh, is that the same guy who does the Does he do the soap and the man soap stuff too?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not know what the hell you're talking about, but the fucking hot take title's bullshit. That's
Mike H, I mentioned to Derek before the show that this guy right here kind of reminds me of a Ben Shapiro light, a discount Ben Shapiro, if you will.
Well, he thinks he's funny too.
Yeah.
So the hot take is no one cares about U.S. men's soccer, which is total horseshit. Number one, I guess we're all no ones, people. We're all nobodies. You make a hot take like that, and I know these guys think they're funny. Well, at least this guy thinks he's funny, and the guy that's the judge thinks he's funny. But I mean, the great thing about humor is like all good comedy is rooted in a little bit of truth, right? And when you don't actually know the truth, then the humor disappears, right? It sort of like goes into this blurry stage. So, I'm not going to kick these guys in the testicles all night, but I got to fix a couple things on here. And I think we both do.
So, and again, I'm just going to preface this. First off, this is a channel that has about 8,200 subs. And this video appears to be their second most viewed video.
And it's just over 2,000?
About 2,400, yeah.
Jesus.
The highest one was a Colin Kaepernick workout video at like 3,000 some odd change.
I wonder how new this show is.
It's great question. I did not bother going past 10 days because they post like 8 videos a day.
Jesus Christ.
No, it's about 3 to 5, give or take.
If this was our job, we could do 8 a day easily.
We could just take our live streams and we take each topic and break those down to 8 videos.
Exactly. All right. So these guys are arguing about whether or not the United States can ever win the World Cup. And at 1:30, this guy says, yes, we will. And here's how we do it. Or here's how it's going to work. This is
eventually throughout the expanse of time, the United States will win the World Cup. And here's why. There's a couple catalysts. Am I saying next year? No. Am I saying 2 years or 4 years from now, whatever? No. But eventually it will happen. Because in America, we love to dominate at sports. Look across the landscape. Basketball in the Olympics.
No, hold on right there. So he's already wrong. Because in the Olympics, in Olympic basketball, we actually lost in 2004, where we came in third. Argentina won it. In 1988, the Soviet Union won it. We came in third. In 2020, we did win it, but we barely won it over France, 87-82. It's not like we just dominate. So he's incorrect already there.
I mean, looking at the other countries, and looking at the NBA rosters, more and more like European countries, especially, are having players in the NBA itself. So even if you're looking at the top players of NBA being American, or again, I don't follow basketball, so I don't know shit.
I do, so once we get to part 4, I will let you know where else he's been wrong about this. But go ahead.
But yeah, I'm just saying that there are other countries that are going to have decent enough teams that are going to put up a fight. Now
we have struggled in some of the Olympics. Yeah. We won, but we have struggled. So anyhow, it's not as easy as it used to be. The rest of the world's getting better at basketball.
All right, are we continuing here?
Oh yeah. I was waiting for you to start. I was filling in blank space while you fuck with your cock and balls. Push play.
Give me a few more minutes, okay?
Compared to us, if we played football in the Olympics, our version of football, we would destroy everybody on the planet.
Can you pause that again? He basically just said if we played football, our version of football in the Olympics, who the fuck else except for Canada plays fucking a version of football? Absolutely fucking nobody. Like there are like these little click things in Europe.
Doesn't
Germany?
Australia have Australia football? They play like in this enormous circle field or whatever.
Yes, it's called Australian rules football. I've played it actually because I had Australian friends and we would go out and we would play. I love that game, by the way. I think it's badass. But this whole idea that the American football is ever going to be the Olympics, whatever, dude. That ain't happening. Go ahead. Sorry. Send a lot of
send our best major league players? No. We send mostly college kids, and we're still wiping up.
Okay, pause again. He's wrong again. This guy doesn't know his fucking Olympic baseball. Like, if you're the sports guy for the show, you got to know your facts. All right? In 2020, Japan won the Olympics in baseball. We came in second. In 2008, South Korea won the Olympics. We came in third. In 2004, Cuba won it. We didn't even medal. In 1996, Cuba won it, and we came in third. Don't tell me we're dominating Olympic, even with
Derek,
college kids.
We send our college kids. We don't even send our pros to the Olympics.
Well, you understand how if this is supposed to be funny, like the basis of it's going to be funny, at least like get off your fucking rump, your ass, and do some basic research, dude. We're not that dominant in baseball or basketball anymore. Okay, yeah, NFL we are. National football, American football, no one else fucking plays it, dude. Okay, nothing to be proud about. Facts don't care about your feelings, Derek. Yeah, I know, but this guy needs to learn some facts. Otherwise, this show's going to be stuck at like 1,000 views per show or less for a long time. Nobody's going to watch this, Ben Shapiro and Jeremy Boring or whatever your name is. So these guys need to if they're going to do shows like this, do some research. Like at least the other guy, David Cohen, whoever's on this show, did some fucking basic research. We don't send our best. I know, but he said we don't send our best and we still dominate. That's what he said. He's lying. We don't dominate. We don't send our best. Absolutely not. But we don't dominate regardless. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Tell the truth, dude. That's what I'm saying. To the
hockey. Hey, Russia, you remember that game? I think we all do. Most important hockey game ever. And the United States is starting to bleed players into the NHL that are really good, that are American. Austin Matthews, there's an example.
We're getting better at hockey.
Soccer is a mountain that we have not climbed yet. And all it takes is a couple things. And I've got an idea on how to do this. Me and you are in agreement. One, we need to make a decent run in one. We need to go far enough in one where it looks like we may have a chance to win it. The minute we actually start believing that we can win it, it's like the SEC in sport.
So the belief that we could win it concept. What was it? Was it the 2014 or 2010 World Cup that if we would have beaten, whether it was 14 Belgium or who did we lose to in 10?
Does it matter?
Regardless, it was like if we would have beaten that game, the pathway to the finals would have been like the easiest pathway we could have imagined, potential pathway. So I mean, if it was a Belgium game, if Wondolowski would have scored that, then yeah, the belief would have been there that there's a possibility,
Well, in 2000,
so I feel like we've been there before.
2002, we went pretty good as far as we've ever been since 1930. So
we played Ghana in 2010. Is that accurate?
I think he's right. I'm old and my brain is saddled with
that's right. Alcohol. It was Ghana because then it would have been Uruguay next.
Still not easy. Sorry.
Not easy, but it would have been the easiest path leading to the finals.
I don't think this has anything to do with the evolution of how we get people to care about soccer, but oh well. You want to skip to 345? And this is the guy's response.
United States will never win the World Cup.
Okay, hold on, right away. That's ridiculous. Never is a long time, dude. Like we could all be dead for 200 years, and then if they fucking win the World Cup,
I don't know that. I don't know if you in your timestamps if you have this covered, but he does kind of backtrack on that a little bit later on in the episode.
He does. Yeah, we got a timestamp.
Okay.
So yeah, he does. But
because
go ahead.
America, we don't care about soccer for 3 years and 11 months every cycle. For 1 month out of every cycle, we want to win the World Cup. Like, we're here, we're ready to go, we're the best, we should just expect to win because that's what we do at everything else. The rest of the world, for those 4 years, those other 3 years and 11 months during the cycle, they're out there training, they're out there preparing.
Okay, but here's the thing. The average EPL viewership in this country for the EPL is like 500,000 people per match. That's way up from where it used to be. And in the 2018 World Cup in the United States got 17.4 million viewers. The World Series got 14.3. I think people do care about soccer. They just aren't interested in Major League Soccer on TV. There you go. But attendance is good at MLS games. We're up to 21,305 in 2019. So
I'm kind of perplexed by this topic, and I thought about this point he's making, and I thought about this while I was first listening to it too, because he's like, we as Americans, we don't care about soccer for 3 years and 11 months, but that 1 month we care. We want to win the World Cup because that's what we do as Americans. We want to win. But the rest of the world, they're out there training for those 3 years and 11 months. I'm like, wait, are the fans training or are the players training? Because I feel like the players on our teams are still training.
Oh yeah,
he's kind of like bringing up 2 different points and bringing it up as if it's making his point. I don't know. It seems a little strange.
It is. It's a little strange because they barely did any research on this before doing this show. So, all right, we can move on to 6:35. Aliens are involved in this.
Wait, with 6 what?
35. We're a little before it. Yeah.
Don't dominate in sports, because when it comes to sports, America's like, we got that. If
my wife's like, "What'd you do after 6
commercial
months
break?"
doing this?" She's
naked men, naked men.
aliens landed, and they're like, all right, we're gonna blow up your planet unless you pick the 5 best basketball players to play us right now, and you got to beat us. All 5 would be from America, and they'd all be from India.
Stop. Wrong. No, they wouldn't be. I'm sorry.
Where are all the characters from Looney Tunes at?
Dude, the last 4 winners of the NBA MVP are all European. And it's 2 guys. It's the Greek Freak, and it is, who's the other guy? Nikola Jokic. He's from Slovenia. All right? So, no, you're wrong again. Those 2 would be picked, would be my guess. I mean, if you want to pick up old-ass LeBron James, you can. But it's not going to be all 5 Americans. There are other great players out in the league. Joel Embiid is a badass. Luka Doncic is a badass. Don't tell me all 4 are going to be Americans. You Peckerwood. Do some research. Jesus Christ, dude. We're never going to be invited on their show. Oberder dictum. I hate it when pundits that don't know anything about soccer decide they want to comment on soccer and they think they're funny at the same time.
Well,
in order to be funny, you have to know what you're talking about.
This topic is just clickbait for them. They're hoping to get clicks. They're hoping to draw attention. Probably from the people who aren't fans of soccer, quite frankly, just to draw them in. So the comment section is just a giant bitch fest. But quite frankly, the people who are active on the internet happen to be a lot of soccer fans. Mm-hmm. And a lot of their comment section is them refuting some points while also saying, you make some okay points here and there type thing.
I haven't found one yet, except for the other guy who says, even if we're really good at soccer, it doesn't mean we're going to win the World Cup because Brazil, etc. There have been lots of team favorites, Spain, who go to the World Cup and they just stink it.
Tax in the comment section as well, and he because later on he mentions that the 2014 Brazilian team was supposed to be like the best team in the world.
No, they weren't
ever, and they got spanked by Germany 7-1. So
they did, but they weren't like the best Brazilian team ever.
Yeah, Tax sets them straight on that.
Yeah, they weren't. Okay, let's continue on this for a little longer. Not much,
but we have not dominated the soccer realm. The most popular sport in the world. In the world. Because it's easy to play because you don't have to have a lot. You can make your own goal and then just get a ball. That's what you need. The most popular sport in the world, we are one of the worst at. Eventually, the competitive nature of Americans in this.
Yeah, I thought that was a little strange too. We're not one of the worst.
Worst. What the fuck, dude? Have you looked at, not that it matters, FIFA rankings? Have you looked at the fact that outside of 2018, we qualify for every World Cup, we get out of every group stage? I don't know. These guys didn't do any research. The other guy did, because he mentions it later. We've been getting out, we qualify pretty regular since, 1994, and we always get out of the group stage in the more recent years. And
well, he's I don't know if you have this timestamp, but he says that we still struggle to get out of the group stage. But yes,
everyone
that's going
does.
to be that's going to be. And do you have that part-time stamp? Because I don't want to waste all that good material here. Basically, there are top teams in the world that struggle to get out of the group stage. Some of them don't. We saw 2014 with Italy and England, I think it was. They didn't get out of the group stage against Uruguay and Costa Rica. If I recall correctly. Using them as an example.
The whole problem with this video is it might be funny to somebody who knows absolutely fucking dick squat about the American soccer scene right now, and that we have players playing on some of the biggest clubs in Europe right now. And we're already doing what you want us to do. We got a bunch of young players in Europe, fuckface. They're already doing what you want. Well, he has his solution later, so I won't spoil it. So let's go to his solution, which is at 750. But
750. Matt does bring up a good point. I mentioned this too. They're old lazy stereotypes.
Yeah, they're like 30 years old. 30 years old.
The most athletic players don't play the sport, type of
It's
thing.
like these guys missed the bus, and the bus was slated for 2002, and they got off accidentally at 2022. David D. Germany bombed out last time. Yeah, it happens all the time. Getting out of the group stage. Spain's been bombed out.
Yeah.
Italy's bombed out in the group stage. And they were perennial favorites at the time. France has bombed out in group stage before. This is recently, in recent times. Some of them don't even make the World Cup. Italy's not going.
Every single one of those we just mentioned all happened within the last 3 cycles.
I hope these guys watch this. And I'm sorry I called you a fuckface. But listen, dude, if you want to be funny, get your facts together so you can actually be funny. Because this isn't funny. It's not. I mean, it's funny for the ignorant, but it's not funny for people in the know. So bring us on and apologize again for calling you a fuckface. You're probably a nice guy. But, I erupt. That's what I do here.
People always tend to get along better when you have a beer with each other. Where's the solution number
750. This solution is so stupid. This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Out all over the country for kids between the age 10 and 13. Whoever
he gets
the
called
top
out
15 to 20 that make it out of, we say, you're the best. We're timing. We're finding out who really wants it, whose parents are down for the journey. Then we take that group of kids. We take them over to Salerno. You're going to cut me off when I get to take
your time's up. First of all, I don't need back talk.
And it's called an opening statement.
I am not a violent man.
All right, that's enough. So his whole theory is we get all these youngsters over. They go to Sicily or Salerno, and no one will know we're there. Oh yeah, there's this thing called the passport. Anyhow, we're already doing that. Why don't you do your research? McKennie, Adams, Pulisic, Reina. I mean, listen, the list is endless. So do some basic research, dude. I mean, know your basic players. Know that they're playing on some of the best teams in the world. We're way ahead of your little fucking taking 10 to 13-year-olds to an island so you can molest them and be their philosophical godfather or whatever he comes up with later, where he's like, oh yeah, I'll be their fucking, psychiatrist or whatever.
Don't worry, we had Judge Keanu Reeves there to cut him off.
Yeah, well, thank God, yes. And then last part, or 2 more parts, 1323, not interested. Why are Americans not interested? Or is it that there's no interest because we're not good, or is we're no good and so there's no interest? This guy's the more rational of the two.
There are a lot of people hating, several people on here on our comment section hating on the Daily Wire. I'm not sure how Derek came across this video.
It popped up. I'm not a subscriber of the Daily Wire, but it's soccer related, so it popped up.
I don't subscribe to a lot of shit. Period. Especially when it comes to political shit. So
I subscribe to soccer shit up the butt, though. Yeah.
Yeah, this did have men's soccer, U.S. men's soccer. So, I mean, I guess that could pop up in feeds.
Well, here's what I thought when I saw it. Hot take, no one cares about U.S. men's soccer. Yeah. You fucking dicks. That was the first thought in my head. I'm going to watch this shit, and I'm going to rip it a new asshole. So, yeah, that was kind of what I was thinking at the time. And then I was like, these are generally okay guys. They're just wrong. Although this guy's more informed than the guy saying we're going to win.
Yeah,
this guy says,
some people in the chat were saying this was a quarterback from Michigan. So an actual sports guy.
Oh, that makes sense with the 12 in the background and the Michigan helmet in the background. Yeah. I thought he's a pitcher for the Yankees, and I'm like, no, David Cohn's much better looking than that. Okay.
America is not excellent on the international stage in men's soccer because we're not interested in it, which is my theory. Or are we not interested in it because we're not great on the international stage?
That's a great question. I would say I think it's more of the first. Because again, if we really put our mind to it and said, you know what, we're going to put soccer up front. We're going to prioritize soccer and send our best athletes over there. And
okay, stop it right there. Yes, good stop. Because
I knew it was coming too.
I am so sick of this stupid.
Just imagine if LeBron
argument.
James is our goalkeeper.
Yeah, and Kyrie Irving became a center forward. That's so dumb. Listen, that's not what anybody does anymore. Like, look at the MLS academies. They're all about getting the best athletes that love soccer first. They don't know anything about basketball or American football. And by the way, most parents won't let their kids play American football anymore in the youth, setup. It's dangerous. And then baseball, you can't find a fucking baseball field in Indiana anywhere. Barely. There used to be baseball fields on every goddamn block when I was a kid.
You have to go to elementary schools and stuff like that to find any of them.
But
for the most part.
There used to be dirt ones all over. Like in every community, the kids would like find an open field and just set up a fucking baseball field. You don't find that anymore. I have satellite footage of Bloomington, Indiana in 1954. And there are fucking baseball fields all over the goddamn city. There aren't any more. There's just one way out there, and there's one over there, and there's two parks, and that's where the baseball. And there's one at the elementary school, and that's it, folks. It's baseball is a dead, dying sport in the United States.
So, and the topic of our quote unquote best athletes, and I know this is in comparison to say professional athletes in various professional sports, obviously, but my experience growing up in rural Indiana was a bunch of the football team making fun of those who played soccer consistently, calling it a pussy sport. Oh, it's a sport for girls. You can't handle a man's type of sport, blah, blah.
You're 6'3". You should have kicked some ass.
But the funny thing is they my junior or senior year, they came out to our two-a-days one day. I don't know what sparked it. Maybe we had a couple of players on our soccer team, our high school team, that were really good friends with a lot of the people from the football team too.
We did too.
They're like, "Hey, bro, just come out here to do 2 days, see what we're doing." And it completely changed their mind. They're like, "Holy shit, we would have fucking died,"
Yeah, right.
So it's the best athletes. I mean, we're talking about people who and I'm not bagging on any professional athlete on any other sport, but we're talking about players who sprint up and down a court or sprint up and down a field for short spells of time. There's a lot of fouls, there's a lot of timeouts, there's a lot of everything, stop of plays, and you get a lot of subs. You're subbed in, you're subbed out, you're subbed in, you're subbed out. It's a completely different sport when you talk about the athleticism in soccer compared to other ones.
And soccer can be very violent. The other thing he keeps comparing, like this thing he's talking about, this program we would develop, is like going into space or whatever. It's like, dude, no, the federal government isn't going to fork over like $100 million to U.S. soccer so they can send some kids over to fucking Sicily. That's not how this works. And we already had that. It was called the Bradenton Academy. Mm-hmm. It was U.S. Soccer's Development Academy. And guess what? After Landon Donovan and DeMarcus Beasley, it didn't give a shit because they didn't know what the fuck they were doing. So this whole idea that's how this works is not how it works. Well, how it works is you have academy systems in pro clubs that are for free, which is happening now in 99% of the MLS academies. And you have players go overseas as early as they can, and develop there. And that's what we're doing as well. So that doesn't mean we're going to win a World Cup in 2026, but it gives us a better shot. These are the best players we've ever had since I've been alive. So I hate that too.
Yeah.
I'm going to send Haji Wright over to this motherfucker's house to kick his ass, because I guarantee you Haji Wright could kick his ass. I can guarantee you a bunch of the guys can kick this guy's ass. Zimmerman can kick his ass. Long could kick his ass. They're all over 6 foot, 6'2", and this guy's probably 5'4" with a dick that's 3 inches long. So yeah, he's going down, baby. He's going down. So anyhow, this whole superior athletes, we don't get them thing is such a 1997 argument to make.
Yeah, speaking of Haji Wright, Jackie's asking if isn't all of Haji Wright's cousins in the NFL.
Could be. I don't know the answer to that. I watch the Colts, and that's it. So if there's a Wright on the Colts that I don't know about, let me know. All right, so then we can jump to his horrible 18. It's at 1815. This is just repulsive. Is that your kids in the background?
Yes.
I could hear him screaming. Yeah.
They're Mimi's in town, so
Mimi!
they're going to stay at 9:22. Man, they are up fucking late. But it's also the first day of summer, so for them, because Noblesville just got out today. So yeah, they're probably milking at this point.
So Mimi is grandma, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It's confusing because they actually have 2 Mimis all on my wife's side of the family, because my wife's stepmom is also called Mimi. So
is Mimi something Italian?
Could be.
Oh, because Omi is German for grandmother, or Oma, but we used Omi because we're from a different part of Germany. We said Omi and Opie. In other parts of Germany, they say Opa and Oma. But anyhow, it's close to Mimi, Omi. Anyhow.
There we go.
I know. I love Joseph Adai.
Yeah.
He's retired.
I didn't realize that they were cousins.
Me neither. It's
That's
news
true.
to me.
That's cool.
God, Haji Wright should have been a running back. What the fuck was he thinking? He loves soccer so much. What a dumbass.
Play that pussy sport, guys.
Jake Crain needs help, dude. He needs to do a little bit more work here on this before being funny.
All right, so we got this is at 8:15.
Yep, this is it. It's the last one.
Coolest island of all time, even though we do a lot of stupid stuff. We're the best of technology.
Commercial break.
This kind of technology right here, where
Sunglasses.
commercials pop right in your show.
Our women look the best.
What?
They have the best facilities.
Okay.
Our space races, our space station, all that stuff. It's great. Elon
What?
Musk.
Okay, hold on.
To space.
Hold on. Oh, okay. And Elon Musk too. Okay, first of all, Elon Musk was born in South Africa, and then he became a Canadian.
But he lives in America.
Now he does, and now he's an American citizen. But he's not. I mean, Elon, touting Elon Musk as this all-American boy. Come on, give me a break. And then, by the way, the International Space Station was co-built between the United States and Russia. It's not just our jizz. It's a mix of jizzes. All right. This is a bukkake show. There's lots of people involved. All right. So this whole thing that we did it and, all by ourselves, the space station, does this guy know basic stuff about what's going on in the world?
We planted a flag on the moon.
Or did Ben just hire this guy to just fucking jerk off dumbly in front of the whole fucking world on the fucking, I'm sure he's a nice guy. But he doesn't know much. He doesn't know much at all. Not even about space station shit. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Why not soccer? Have you asked yourself that today? When you woke up this morning, you went to make your coffee, let the dog out.
Watch Pornhub.
Did you think about making America the best in the world at soccer? You didn't. It's on us, the people. Watch Red Dawn the other day. They landed here. They parachuted here and tried to take us over. Now, was it a movie? Was it fiction?
No,
yes.
No.
That killed,
I want to read
that killed it right there. He should have ran with it.
Yeah.
He didn't have to specify. There's humorous. There's humor to that until you started is it fiction? Of course it was.
That was the only funny part in the whole show. It was when he got the Red Dawn. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? First, you don't even know anything about space stations, apparently, but you're going to use that as an exemplification of how great we are. So, hockey. My wife told me that was a karate class she was taking. Well, you better pull your wife out of that karate class, because sounds like there's more going on there than some chops and kicks. Sounds like there might be some going on as well, and some splashing. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So that's that. We got done with it. By the way, we're supposed to tell people what we had for dinner tonight. I had kimchi with an ice cream bar with vodka.
We were supposed to?
Yeah, people want to know what we're doing.
Well, hot damn, you had much nicer lunch or dinner than I had. I just had pizza. It wasn't even good pizza.
I love kimchi, by the way. Love it. Love cabbage. Love hot shit. All right. Probably won't go well with the vodka and the orange drink that I'm doing now. But, I'm sure I'll get by. I always do. My stomach's like a fucking rock.
All right. For those out there who are not happy that we were showing something from Daily Wire, did you see that ghost that flew over my head?
No.
You ever watch the Ghost Hunter shows?
Ghost Hunter?
The Ghost Hunter shows?
Mm-mm.
So they always have the cameras, and
I don't believe in ghosts.
Place. I don't either, but they always go to the spooky, quote unquote, spooky places, haunted places, and they're like, "Are you here?" And all of a sudden, "Oh, did you hear that?" And you don't hear shit.
I've watched it before, yes.
Yeah.
But
So,
one show, and that was enough for me.
Same thing. Every time
this is the dumbest shit I've ever seen.
They're going back and rewatching all of the footage, and they're like, "Oh, look, there's a spiritual orb flying by," and it's usually just a bug that flies by the camera, or a speck of dust or something.
Or they slow down like a sound that went like this, and they were like, "Oh, rewind that."
Didn't that sound like he was saying, "I'm gonna get you," and then you hear it again? That's what you hear, because that's what they're saying.
Let's play it in reverse. I'm gonna kill you. Something bullshit like that. All right. So let's take on some questions, and then we'll get on to grading the players. Hey guys, I'm sorry if you.
This is a palate cleanser. If you guys were not a big fan of the Daily Wire snippet.
Listen, we gotta. There's some motherfuckers that need their testicles stomped on, and on occasion we're gonna do a little bit of that. And especially if it's mainstream stuff, and we don't know these guys from a hole in the wall, so we're just taking them on their word from their show that they did. And I know they were trying to be funny. At least one of them was, or the judge too, I guess. But it was not good. So I just recommend they do better next time.
Yeah.
All right.
Jackie D says Ghost Adventures is so funny. It's just, they're walking around like, "Oh, it's cold here. Something on my back." And they lift up the shirt, and they don't show the guy behind him that scratches him. Like, "Look, there are claw marks on your back."
That's like the search for fucking Bigfoot that went on for years and years and years.
Dude, there's a fucking reality show about that now. I just found out about this.
Everybody's got a goddamn phone on their camera. Everybody and this guy just never shows up on anything except for blurry footage. All right. So I'm not buying that. I'm calling bullshit on Sasquatch and Bigfoot. Okay, so grading. Oh, grading.
No question.
Question. Sorry.
Come on.
Spencer James, why is it that you guys hate on Christian Roldan, who's a Champions League winner? We don't hate on him.
Hold on, finish it. This may be a spoof.
Unlike our captain of questionable character, Roldan actually contributed to the Sounders Champions League win. Roldan sitting on the bench for 90 was a travesty. He's a top 5 player. No, he's not. Also, by the way, he did help them win. I agree. The CONCACAF Champions League, but there was another guy that you just talked about, Pulisic, who helped Chelsea win the Champions League.
So, and I wonder
in UEFA.
If Spencer's in the chat now, please come out and tell me if this was in seriousness. I almost think it's a troll, because I got into I think I sent you a clip of it. I got into a thing, not even a thing. I mean, I quote tweeted some Seattle pundit that posted a meme, and so this is the U.S. men's national team's Twitter every time they're every window, and it's the meme of Drake where he's like, professional player who wins the Champions League, nah, bro. And then it's like,
yeah, I saw that
16-year-old Lithuanian 3rd division, not playing or whatever, and it's like, like, yeah.
That's a bit extreme. Nobody's doing that.
I quoted him and I said, hey, quit beating your meat and form your argument. So
Exactly.
I was ready to argue the point. Was he saying that Roldan should have been on there instead of like Malik Tillman or
Henry Wingo,
or Luca De La Torre?
I mean, listen, Henry Wingo plays when he's healthy almost every game, and for Ferran Cavaros, but that doesn't mean he should be on the U.S. men's national team. So nobody's clamoring for him to be on the U.S. national team because he plays on the best team in Hungary.
Yeah,
all right.
So
that's not happening.
This, while it might be a serious take, I'm not saying that it's not, just rang as a troll based off of the stuff that was going around Twitter at the time.
Why don't motherfuckers put a winky face smile on there ever if they're trying to be
good talking points, I guess.
If you're being sarcastic, at least let us know you're being sarcastic.
Oh no.
Unless it's completely fucking obvious, which that is not.
Oh, I'm not joking. Euro snubs. Oh no, Spencer, no.
Is he joking?
He says, I'm not joking. Euro snubs.
Well, fuck him then.
Well, I don't agree with your take, Spencer, if that was serious.
Joking, not joking. Yeah, whatever. I don't know.
There's new ones. Oh no.
Oh, they're new ones?
Yeah, I'm going to.
All right. Holy fuck.
All right. I haven't done Big Hairy Jake's yet.
Big Hairy Jake, have you tried to get in the 1920 guys GGG says have locked in? Tried to.
Zach Steffen, Matt Turner.
Yeah. That's 17, and they all have to be locks. So out of JMPADY Long, Roldan, Pepe, he thinks only 2 or 3 are locks. That's some hope, I guess. I guess so. I mean, when's the last time Roldan played? Acosta didn't even play last time. So there is hope that he might get this right at the end. But there's not going to be any Brooks. So that's done. He doesn't even mention him here. So, all right. Yeah, that's a good take. I think maybe he's with Luca De La Torre getting a start at the 6, or not a start at game time last night at the 6, and he looked fucking great at it. So
Jose saying he doesn't quite understand exactly what this meant. There's just a bunch of abbreviation names, so you can get all the names in there without hitting the mark of like 200 whatever characters.
Yeah, it's a real hairy situation.
Let's see here. We did Sean. Here's Jose.
Between those who support Long versus those who don't is crazy. The division between those who support Long and those who don't is crazy. I think Gregg going to give him ample amount of opportunities to take over the starting spot because he's a coach that's loyal to the players he's friends with or dating like he is with Areola. He likes Areola's nipples. 4, no 3.
Yeah,
I get it.
So I mean, there is a division. I mean, there are people who are backing up Long.
Not many.
There are definitely those who are not backing up Long.
Mm-hmm. They're the majority.
There's literally no meeting a mutual agreement and meeting halfway somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. All right, I'm gonna have you read the next one while I load up the bong.
Let's see here. Football is life, says Alexi's unhinged again, though somehow his talking points always feel less batshit than the very backward logic he uses to make them.
Yeah, probably.
I'm gonna get sucked into this. Oh, this is the pro rel argument he made. Basically, he goes on this. Somebody asked, you lived through pro rel in Italy. What are your thoughts about it happening in the U.S.? And he goes, I'm not against having pro rel. The problem I have is whether or not it makes business sense. And the people who are behind it are going to go with business. What makes business sense?
Yeah, that's what we've been saying for 10 years.
And when Alda came back, he quoted him and said, "That's backwards because if you invite pro and rel, then the people are going to have to be good at business in order to stay up and to make money."
Kind of true, but nobody in business wants to put something that is a safe investment into suddenly not safe. If you've invested $300 million in your club and you just paid the fee to get in MLS if you're Charlotte or whoever, yeah, you don't want the threat in 2 or 3 years that you're going to be relegated after you just spent $300 million and built a new stadium or whatever they did. Yeah. Anyhow, I'm not, by the way, I'm not sucking my own cock. I am getting high.
All right. But football continues. No one cares about U.S. soccer because they watch that backline play, then listen to Gregg's post-match pressers. That's really all evidence you need for a top 15 squad. I didn't know they were in a low block till I watched the film. It's kindergarten. Come on. I'm not bitter. You're bitter.
Huh, interesting. All right.
Okay. Well, that's all those questions.
So let's get to our grades for the players. And you're going to have. Huh?
Yeah. I go, is that what the point of this was?
Yes. We always leave the best for last. Not really. But this, we will give grades. So the Matt Turner, I think, is easy. I think he's an A. Just give him an A. Maybe an A, maybe even an A plus.
I gave him an A.
Because
didn't make a mistake. Outside of those couple of passes.
There were a couple of them. Yeah.
Wasn't, yeah.
Long balls that went out of bounds. All right. Let's do the backs. Jedi. I gave Jedi a C. A C to C plus, somewhere around there. I thought he didn't have the best game.
C plus is fair. I mean, quite frankly, he was. A lot of this is going to fall onto how you saw Jedi in the defensive side because it looked like he was constantly caught out of position, constantly having to rush back. But I almost feel like this is based off of the tactics that Berhalter's playing.
Yeah, I mean, definitely.
They want him to get into the attack, but in the attack, and I've always said this about Jedi, his crosses aren't there. They're just not the world's best by any means. He may connect once in a while, but for the most part, he's best to sort of cut back and try to slot a pass through the box instead of trying to cross it. And he did some good stuff, but he did some stuff. But there were a lot of times where it seemed like he was caught out of position. And we're going to get into that here when we talk about the other defenders too.
Yeah, Zimmerman Long, but Cannon I gave a C as well. I just gave him a C plus. I thought he wasn't horrible, but I didn't think he really made a case for himself going forward. I mean, maybe for a back three, if you're going to do that, but I'd rather have if we're going to do a back three, put Eric Palmer Brown in there instead, but there were times he did go on the offensive. He had a couple good moments there, but generally, Yes, he did well against Hakimi. I'll give you that. But, and let me say this. He had a long way to run back, usually.
Yeah.
To get back on defense.
I mean,
he was he's far up the pitch.
He's usually in and around our offensive box. And all of a sudden, I mean, most of Morocco's attacks generally came at the counter. Yeah. They countered us because, I mean, we were all pressing high and you just had the three center backs sitting. And that exposed a lot of issues, a lot of non-communicating. That's the biggest problem. And you want to talk about whether Long or Zimmerman had a better game. The problem is neither of them seemed to really be talking throughout the game. And they both had some defensive plays that they capitalized on. They both got turned around in circles. There was an obvious glaring one that I can recall from. Why
don't you put them up?
Long. I'll bring those up. The one that I recall from Long wasn't one of the two where he committed to the left and the guy spun around him and turned to the right or his right and just made him look bad. But that was actually the play that caused the yellow card.
Yeah, that's one where he yanked him down by the shoulder.
It was a bad defensive play that resulted in him having to foul them. Otherwise, it would have been a chance on goal.
Right.
So, but as far as let's go to you.
So upon rewatching this, both of us had a lot more criticism of the defense and also the midfield helping on defense, by the way, which might take some grading down. Yeah.
Okay. So this is one of the plays, obviously early in the game. And right here, you've got Cannon, you've got Aronson, there's Musa, Zimmerman, Long, and here's Jedi. And we got three people in the box.
What
for
a
our
huge
5.
gap between Musa and Jedi.
Yeah,
That's a giant gap, by the way. Why is Long holding hands with Zimmerman?
I think Zimmerman's actually reaching out. He's like, Aaron, come here.
Take my hand.
Because they do get closer in the end. I mean, as they're kind of, because looks like there must have been a deflection, the ball coming out, and everybody's moving up type of thing. Long is eyeing this guy right here initially.
Mm-hmm.
Zimmerman is eyeing this guy right here, and I think Cannon ends up picking this guy up.
Okay.
I think. So we move to the second screen here. And as you can see,
they're even closer together.
So Long posts up on that guy. Zimmerman is. At least he seems like he's trying to point out that there's a guy behind him.
Yeah, he knows there's a guy behind him. Yeah.
But here we go. This is the guy that's going to make a darting run near post. The ball's going to come around Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
And I brought this to you, and I don't want you spoiling it for everybody else.
I can't remember. So
but who do you think ends up recovering to defend against this guy?
I
Is it
think
Aaron Long? Is it Zimmerman? Aronson? Musa? I don't think it's going to be Jedi.
My original thought was that Long would go and cut off that path while Zimmerman would cover the guy in the middle, and that Cannon would go back and cover the guy that's walking straight towards him.
That makes sense to me.
It would to me. But that's not what happens.
We have a prediction here. It's on Long. That's what he's predicting.
Mm-hmm.
So he's making that run.
Which was totally obvious to everyone.
But Long,
Musa does nothing.
Zimmerman, yeah, Musa's just running out. He's clearing out.
Yeah,
I don't know if you necessarily even saw this guy cutting in.
Yeah, he did. If you go back to the other slide, he's right in front of him.
Oh, you're right. He is looking at him.
Yeah. If you don't see that guy and you're Musa, that's negligence right there. Yeah. That's what that is.
So Long and Zimmerman holding hands here. Cannon's still here, but he ends up picking this guy up in the end.
Yeah, but Long and Zimmerman are covering the same twat.
Who's this guy coming through R18?
Spread out the twat.
Tyler Adams?
That's ridiculous.
Here they are again. Zimmerman finally picks him up, and he's like, dude, go get that guy to Long.
Yeah.
But Adams, who started off picture,
you couldn't even
ends up coming back.
That should not have to happen.
Overcommits and bites because
Morocco, he's running so fast he can't stop.
Morocco loves to do that. Fake the shot, cut back. I mean, after like the third or fourth time, you'd imagine that our defense would have figured that out.
Long is way slow on this,
and then
way slow.
He ends up taking an extra touch, which benefited us. I mean, he could have easily just ripped a shot.
He should have. That's a goal.
But Long does this spin move and thrusts his butt right into the ball and blocks it. So he does get to it. He does finally get back on it. But I mean, that would have been a goal scoring opportunity for just about any other team, and maybe even Morocco on a different day.
On a good day, that's a goal and should have been. So that's his poor defense.
So here's another one.
Oh,
again,
God, yeah.
I want to specify, guys, the ones the clips we're showing here aren't necessarily to call out one person. It's to call out the entire back line and not communicating at all.
And in some case, the midfielders too, by the way.
Yeah.
Because look, let's to give the preface, like before this ball got over to this wide guy, we were extra compressed on the other side of the field and doing a high press on that. And they switched fields like bam on us all far left because we had nobody covering that dude. No one was covering that guy at all. Wahl was up pressing. Aronson was up near the middle. This guy was wide open. All right. And Cannon was laying back. So boop, the ball goes over to that guy. There's no one in front of him for miles to go.
Farrell says that play, like 50 yards of space.
I mean, anybody knows how to exploit our high press at this point. I'm surprised they didn't do a better job.
So the players we can see in this, obviously, we got Wahl, who's behind because he's obviously was making that run forward.
Yep.
Yeah, Aronson, Adams, and Musa.
Yep.
But there's this enormous gap. And we can see what, like 5, 10, 15 yards forward at least.
Yep.
Give or take. So speeding it up, here's the guy that had all that space. And Aronson's checking back to try to pressure because Cannon had this guy, but it looked like he was like almost starting to commit to the ball, even though Aronson was covering back. That guy splits him. And then here's Zimmerman, here's Long. Who do you think covers the ball? Who do you think should go to the ball? Let's phrase this.
If it's going to this guy in the middle,
Yeah.
well, you would think it would be fucking Long because Zimmerman's facing the wrong direction. But it's probably going to be Adams again, isn't it?
I've got a question. My question would be: is where's Zimmerman going? If his eyesight's to the goal, the ball is ahead of him. Where's he actually going here?
I think he's cutting back to get in front of number 8. I think that's number 8 there. And be able to stand him up 1-on-1. Yeah.
So
he's retreating to a square space where he can square up. But that's not what happens.
Long eventually.
Well, he does. He does square up. Okay.
He does square up. Long eventually commits. But I'm just saying, if you go back,
it looks like
wouldn't it have been better for Zimmerman, since Long is already here in the center, to have cut off the space right here? Well, or maybe he's cutting back because he sees Cannon already beat at that point.
Yes, that's the problem. Yeah. So he wants to get inside of the attacker coming at him. He wants to get inside and square up. Whereas I don't know what the fuck Long's doing, because it ends up in the next slide. It looks like if you go to it, it looks like he's sucking Zimmerman's cock. And that's not where he should necessarily be. He does not need to be holding his hand there.
So again, you can't see what's happening on this side of the pitch over here. And this is a communication issue because Long was here-ish and starts to commit, which opened up the space for who Long probably should have had on that break. Jedi, who was probably up in the attack again with everybody else in the midfield, ended up sprinting back a good 30, 40 yards just to get to this point.
Yes, but look at this. This is also a problem. Look at Aronson. Look at Adams. And, look at Musa, how far they are from helping.
David points out this one's on BA because he didn't pick up this extra player. Cannon had 2. And go back, Cannon only had, as far as I could tell, Cannon only had the 1 player, but he also had the left back charging up the pitch.
Who's BA? Who's BA? Who's BA?
Brandon Aronson.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And Aronson commits to the ball. Mind you, it was about 15 yards in advance where he had to. Cannon couldn't commit because he did have that extra man.
Yeah. I mean, they got us.
Crush on Zimmerman. Yeah.
They got us.
They absolutely exploited our 3 center back tandem. It wasn't working. Maybe this is an issue where Adams may be pushing up a little too far in the attack in this game. He didn't have the most stellar performance by any means.
But he did that a number of times where he was like, the other 2 guys, Musa and Aronson, were back, and Adams sprinted ahead and joined the front 3.
Well, we know that Aronson was further back in the defense than Adams at that point. So maybe the issue there is that Aronson should have recognized that and covered back instead of pushing forward as well. Again, a lot of communication issues here.
Yeah, Aronson needs to be headed towards Zimmerman at this point, and Adams needs to be headed towards Long right here. I'm not sure if that's what happened. If you go to the next slide, not really. They didn't get there. They never got there. That's like they barely moved because it was a quick pass. So, yeah.
Musa and Adams both moved about 5 yards roughly.
And that's why I gave Zimmerman and Long a C.
Yeah.
I
gave Zimmerman a C+ simply because he had that extreme long ball to Pulisic that caused our first goal.
Which caused him to be yanked from the game.
What, playing the long ball?
Yeah, because it looked too much like Brooks.
But
that's somebody else's joke, but
it was on Tax Show as well.
Yeah, it was funny as fuck.
Yeah,
it was
You're
on.
Lucky you have hair, Zimmerman. I would have assumed you were Brooks.
Yeah. All right, so that's the back 4 and the goalkeeper. Adams, I gave a B-. I thought it was a less than stellar game. He had some great tackles. He did well in the press, but I
caught out of position a number of times.
Yes, he went too far forward and made what you would call low percentage wrist tackles that he was going to easily get burned on, and he did twice. Might have been more than twice. The twice is all I wrote down. Aronson, I gave him an A. Got a goal.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep, pass to Ferreira. That should have been a goal. Pass to right. That should have been a goal. And then Musa, I gave a B. And I almost gave him a B minus, honestly. I mean,
For
Musa. I just didn't. I don't know. I don't think it was his greatest game.
It was better. It was better than some, but not as good as others.
I like when he broke the lines with the ball at his feet.
So I thought Musa came into his own when Pulisic started staying up higher and wider. And we've talked about this in the other show. And Teicher stole my point once again, where when Pulisic ends up checking back and into the center of the midfield area, he like cuts Musa at the knees. Just like Musa doesn't have quite the because he likes to fake one direction, turn the other, and just like beeline it straight up the pitch.
But that seems so much by design because it happens over and over and over and over and over again. Where Pulisic comes back to the and cuts in the middle and finds open space, and Musa just ends up being a left back behind Robinson. It happens so much. It's like that's got to be by design. I don't know.
It might be something along the lines of Berhalter saying, "Hey, Pulisic, I want to make sure that you're kind of out wide, but if you want to come back and do your thing, by all means." It's kind of just letting him off the leash at that point.
Yeah, maybe so. I gave an A. Pulisic, I gave an A. And I
ended up giving Pulisic an A plus. Very rare instance that I ever give an A plus.
He still tried to do too much on some occasions, Brett.
I'm okay with an occasional, But
too many times though.
He had the soft bring down for the assist. He ended up drawing the foul. And mind, he may not have drew it. He may have just gotten fouled. And why the Moroccan players were bitching about that? I mean, the guy fucking body checked.
Yeah, this isn't hockey. Yeah.
So, but he drew that.
Shoulder is fine, but that wasn't shoulder.
He gave up the PK to a longtime friend of his that's getting his debut.
Yeah, I guess that's cool.
So, I mean, it was just there were a number of things I liked. Yeah, there were some bad plays, some bad passes, holding on to the ball too long. Even when he got rid of the ball and an opportunity was created, sometimes if he would just make that pass one touch a little earlier, it would have opened up the field a little more for the other person. But as a whole, I think the good outweighed the bad significantly. But that's my take. And I rarely give out the A+.
If you give a Pulisic an A+, you should give Aronson an A+. All right.
Sure.
Ferreira
agrees. He goes, says Aronson would get my A+.
Yeah. Ferreira, I gave a C+, somewhere around there. I thought
I give him a B-.
He just disappeared for long portions of the first half. He just wasn't in the game. I mean, where was he?
So
he had the ball.
He had 2 shots on goal.
He missed a horrible fucking open goal chance.
Yeah, he should have absolutely put that second one away.
I'm sticking with my C, dude. Can't do that again. No,
I'm sticking with my B-. He had some decent plays on defense, on corner kicks. He had one glaring mistake on a corner kick too, where he kind of like pussyfooted, to the ball and got burned. But I thought, shot. I mean, outside of missing the one-on-one with the keeper, I thought the other shot was a decent shot taken. And quite frankly, again, and I mentioned this in the show with him, Pulisic, and Weah. In the first half, they had 6 shots on goal, and that's just phenomenal for our team.
Yeah, but they were shit shots. All right, so Scally.
Some of them were shit shots.
Scally, what'd you give Scally?
Sorry, I have pages of notes here. I gave Scally a B.
I gave him a C+. I would have liked to seen more. I know it was a short time, but it was a half, right? And I thought he just defensively, that's where he was kind of stuck. He got beat, but then he got it back after he got beat. I don't know. I thought he could do better, but I understand it's his first out. So there's going to be nerves and all that shit. So C+, B-.
He got into the attack sometimes, as you pointed out. They're few and far between. He definitely sat back more than Jedi did. Yeah. We were up 3-0. I think that probably played a factor in some of it, but I thought his connection plays were fine. There were a number of plays between him, Pulisic, and Haji that were just one touch around.
Yeah.
Again, there was nothing spectacular about it, but I I kind of gave him a benefit on that. Maybe I'm a little generous. Maybe I'm just happy to fucking see him on the pitch.
I gave a lot of the guys off the bench a B. I mean, I gave CCV a B minus. I gave
him a B. Yeah.
I gave Wright a B. I mean, it's kind of hard to judge some of these guys. However, I did give Luca De La Torre an A. I thought his time shined when he was out there. I thought he was amazing. I thought when he dribbles, the ball's like stuck to him like Velcro. You know, I think that's pretty awesome.
Chris Gary brings up a great point for Scally. He was also playing left back, but then again, he's also played that a number of times for Gladbach, so shouldn't be too out of the question there. Before I get into my Luca De La Torre, Eldon Hasek, or is it Hasic?
Doesn't shoot. Yes, it's Hasic, I would guess.
Depending
on whether he's American. If you're American, you'd say Hasic. If you're actually from wherever you are, it's probably
brother
Hasic.
from Fort Wayne.
Yep. I think we've had this discussion with him before.
I think you said it correct the first time you named it off. And so I just called him Eldon H.
Ferreira doesn't shoot hard enough for this level. Well, he's not really a 9, honestly. He's a false 9 at best. And I don't think he did himself any favors in that last 45 minutes. So I think Haji Wright did, but I don't think Ferreira did. And he may be the best American striker in MLS right now, but I don't know if that's good enough. I mean, that's the problem. We still got problems going into the World Cup. Who's the fucking 9? Who's going to play the fucking 9 on this team?
When we play for Ferreira, it's going to be more of more of him working with the other 2 attackers, more so than him being the attacker, you know? Similar to what he did with Pepe at FC Dallas. He was definitely more of a quote-unquote 10, if you will, and then he was a 10 for FC Dallas, or a second striker for that matter. But I think where Ferreira is going to shine, if he does shine, with the U.S. is how well he's going to partner up with Pulisic and Weah, and how he's going to work with them.
He didn't do much that game,
but
he was a ghost for much of it. CCV lost his man on that header. Yeah, that's true.
That was the one play that I could say anything bad about him. He, I thought CCV read the game well enough outside of that lost header.
Yep,
I thought he read the game well, cut off a number of plays.
Look calm.
And he also, he's calm on the ball, and he also was able to slot a pass without looking awkward doing it. So
yeah,
I don't know. I thought that was a B-worthy performance.
B- is what I gave him, but that's fine.
Farrell brings up a good point or brings up a point for Scally. He's 19, first cap, and against Hakimi.
Yeah, he's a C+, D- for me. I mean B-, not D-.
I was gonna say, what the fuck, man?
C+, B- performance for me. I would have, listen, yeah, you gotta temper your expectations, right? It's his first go. By that time, I think Hakimi had blown his wad already in the first half. He looked tired by the second half. That whole team looked tired by like the 70th minute. They looked like they were about to drop dead, all of them.
But jumping back to Luca De La Torre, absolutely stellar performance playing out of the 6. And I think that answers a lot of questions. Something that I know I've been mentioning, and you've talked about how he's played the 6 before.
Yep.
I would like to just see what he can do there. Because, he's played it before. We still have questions at that 6. Adams, he has good games. He has not so good games.
But a positive that Acosta had to ride Pine all game.
Yeah. And then our backup was Acosta at that point. So we're sitting there going like, well, geez, if Adams gets injured again, we're going to be relying on Acosta. And who else at 6 at that point?
Luca De La Torre.
Bringing in Sands? No, but now we have Luca De La Torre as an option.
I really like this by Gregg.
Yeah.
That he's willing to take that leap. I think that's I'm not saying I'm falling in love with Gregg, but I'm saying it made me feel better about him. Like, okay, we're up 3-0. Let's try some shit.
Yeah. And to this point, Luca De La Torre is so calm with the ball at his feet.
It's not only that he's calm with the ball at his feet, he can fucking break lines with the ball at his feet.
I think the most obvious thing, what makes him pretty solid in that position, is his ability of accepting pressure and escaping it.
Because he's got great vision.
Yeah.
He's got great vision.
It is.
He sees the periphery of the field. Like he knows where he's going.
Anytime that he
Yep.
had the ball anywhere on the field, whether it was our defensive third or our offensive third, it doesn't really matter. If he had the ball at his feet, I was more than confident with it.
Yeah. Tillman. I gave Tillman a B minus, somewhere around there.
Mainly because he was a little shaky at first. And
Yeah,
even then, I don't know if it
nervous.
was, but I mean, he fell into his own.
Yeah,
he didn't stand out as the new player.
Yeah.
He took some opportunities. He had some decent connections with
just
players.
the first few minutes when he fell on his face.
So I mean,
he literally fell. He fell down. Like the first pass to him, he was like, oh, right on his face. He got right back up and everything, moved on. But
and as the game progressed, he got a little more confident with the ball at his feet and making darting options forward. And it's not a bad outing. I mean, quite frankly.
Yeah, that's not bad. No,
nothing really right home. Obviously, getting an assist or a goal would have been great.
Dude, it's the first game he's played for us, and since he was like 15 years old.
17, yeah.
Yeah. McKenny, I just gave a B. I thought he was fine, and I'm sure we might see more of him next game, maybe 30 minutes next time. I don't know. But overall, fine. And then Gregg, you got a grade for Gregg?
I mean, hard not to give him an A minus area. I mean,
what minus?
Else?
That's what I had.
What could he have possibly done any different outside of not playing long and trying something different from the get-go?
That's the thing that took me down is I don't think this Long Zimmerman partnership in a back three or a back four is going to be good. I think we're going to need some.
I suspect we're going to see more of it. Well, I suspect we're going to see more of it because he's going to have to nail down his starting center back duo.
You think we're going to do the same sort of weird thing where Robinson became a left winger and Pulisic became a 10/11 and Musa, Adams, and Aronson were right beside him and Ferreira and Wahl were the other two forwards, and Adams was really kind of covering the back, but he was still part of that four in the middle, and then we had Long, Zimmerman, Cannon. I'm not sure Cannon made himself any friends that game. I'm sorry. I know he played the full 90, but I just think that was a really kind of meh. That's
I think the tactics and formation and who plays center back duo is going to depend on who plays right back at this point. I mean, if it's Cannon again, I feel like he's probably going to fall back in line with that three center back on the attack, allowing the freedom on the left back. But when Yedlin comes in, he's not going to be able to do that. Yedlin's definitely not a right center back. He's definitely going to be getting up in the attack.
Down the line with Dest.
Dest or Scally in that sense. It really depends on who's playing right back, what the formation's going to, or the tactics are going to be.
If it's Dest and Robinson, you want both of those guys pushing up high, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so that changes everything. This formation, this setup that Gregg used, that had 4 in the back on defense, sort of, and then 3 in the back on offense. I mean, we'll see how that works out going forward and who's going to be fooled by it. Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, he used to do the same thing, but from the other direction when he had put Tyler Adams up there on the right side to play sort of a right back, but not really a right back, but kind of a right midfielder. And this time it was, the left back becoming a left winger. So anyhow, he's showing some dexterity, some flexibility. So that's nice. But, it's something that if you put it, I think he might have just did this game and said, let's put that in our back pocket. Next game, we're going to try something different too. So
Big Harry Jake says you want Dest up high way more than Jedi. I think, quite frankly, when both Jedi and Dest are playing, you're going to want them both getting into the attack.
And they both do, yes.
So I think the big tactical change that's going to happen if those type of players, or even a Scally and Jedi, if they're playing opposite, because I mean that Scally wants to get into the attack just as much.
Mm-hmm.
His time at Gladbach proved that he was definitely more of a wing back the entire year than an actual back. But I think the difference in tactics is going to be where Adams or where the 6 ends up playing. I'm going to say Adams in this sense because it's probably going to be Adams for the most part. I think Adams is not going to be as adventurous that we saw against Morocco, getting up and I would say up into the attack or just higher up. I think when we play with that 2 center back and our 2 backs getting up and down the pitch, I think Adams is going to sit back a little further and try to break things up and help out the center backs. A little more than what he did against Morocco.
Yeah, I mean, if you have Dest and Robinson going up high, Adams has to definitely drop back deeper to help the center backs in case of a counter. So, all right, man, I think that's it. Unless we got questions.
Oh, I wanted to bring up one point here.
All right.
Something we really didn't talk about in the previous show, and we didn't actually talk about today, was that ridiculously stupid PK called on Scally.
Yeah, that
what a horrible call. And then once I heard the announcers go, and there's no VAR in this match, I'm like, God fucking damn it.
Why not?
And then
why
the guy
not?
steps up. The guy steps up.
It's
Take
not
that
hard
shot.
to set up. Oh, that's ridiculous.
And he just rips the crossbar. Oh, no. I was texting you. I'm like, that's fucking karma, bitch.
I'm sorry. It costs an extra $10,000 to set up VAR for the game. Well, fucking goddamn, somebody
I mean, they have all the cameras in the stadium. All that really takes is just a couple people in a booth watching video.
Yeah, it's not really hard. It's not difficult. They're just morons.
There are 0 stadiums in the U.S. that cannot be set up for VAR. So it boggles my mind how it's not even available there. And I guess your mileage may vary because some people just simply don't like VAR at all.
Yeah,
but there's definitely merit to it.
Yes. All right. Are we done?
That's a great question there. When was the last time someone scored a penalty on the U.S.?
I don't know. Good question, Chris.
Mexico and Farrell says Mexico and Uruguay are about to kick off. They throw that game on.
Yeah, I have to go to.
What channel is that fucking on?
It's on one of the Spanish-speaking ones.
That's no bueno. Is it on like an ESPN or something?
I don't think so. I didn't see it listed.
Hey guys, what channel is this game on?
ESPN Plus? I don't think so. It's on TDUN, and I looked at it earlier today. Another one. But all right. So the next time,
there's our PK first off. I guess that happened in the Gold Cup.
Okay.
TUDN is the one that everybody's saying.
The next time we do this show, we're going to take some time to talk about consciousness again. I think we're going to do that, but not tonight. Tonight's late, and we've been on for an hour and 37 minutes. So I'm not going to discuss Descartes and Ortega y Gasset. There's no time for that tonight. But we do want to thank you for showing up as usual and supporting us. Hopefully you bought a t-shirt by now. They're not that expensive. And they look badass, by the way. And yeah, we don't have one yet. So we're idiots. When are we going to fix that, Brett? God damn it. I told
you to get on top of that.
I'm selling my house. By the way, I got an offer today. So
damn, how expensive are those shirts? A couple shirts. Got to sell the house, guys.
I'm selling my house to move up north, obviously, for reasons. And I got an offer. Like, it's been since I cleaned the whole house and all that shit. It's been like a week, and so I might be out of here soon. Probably. Yeah, it's going to take 21 days for the paperwork and all that shit to work out. But I'm going to accept an offer soon. I got 2 other people visiting next week. But I might be up north with you soon. We can do a show together.
I mean, it kind of looks like the rooms are the same room anyways, almost the same color.
Kind of
that. But yeah, regardless, we could do some stuff live watches and stuff and everything like that. It'd be fun. Yeah,
it'll be fun indeed. All right, until the next time on the Straight Red Card, make sure you share, like. Oh, you got more?
I'm gonna grift for Sam real quick. I'm gonna play the video. I'm gonna play his video out on the closing.
No, don't do that again, because I was told that we need to declare a commercial if we're going to play a commercial for an outside source.
Okay, I'll declare a commercial. Isn't that what we're just doing right now?
Guess so. If you want to play it to end the show, I'm fine with that. I love Sam, but just make sure that. We'll make you click.
We're getting no financial backings for this, so I don't.
We're not.
So basically, what you're saying, what you're alluding to, is the thing where like you're bringing up something, and the problem is people get hit on stuff because they're getting financial backing for it. We're getting shit for that if I bring it
I
up.
know, but they will assume we're getting some sort of support for running this commercial. So just telling you that's how it works. And then we're going to have to say that wasn't a commercial. We're just supporting a friend of ours. He didn't pay us
There
a
we go.
goddamn
We just literally
dime.
did it. We're covered.
All right. Good. Go ahead and play it until the next time on the Straight Red Card. Watch this, and then watch the ending, and we'll be back soon. Monday.
All right. See you guys.
The reason why U.S. national team fans own so many jerseys. U.S. soccer apparel stinks. At Since 76, we're looking to change that. Our goal is to grow the fan base through dope designs that fans will actually want to wear. But our shirts won't be available 24/7. We will be opening our store exclusively for limited time only drops with limited merchandise. So follow our socials and sign up for our mailing list so you don't miss out on the next drop. Because Americans were not built to celebrate quietly. We are the land of the free and the home of the kings of CONCACAF since 1776.
That hurt. More verticality.